Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. So last week I made a video on how you can make $400 a day becoming a field inspector. And it sent me down a little bit of like a side hustle rabbit hole to see what other side hustles people swear by. And one side hustle in particular is quietly making people $1,500 a week, and that's becoming a medical courier. Now, if you're already driving for things like, Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, then this could be your perfect upgrade. So you'll be delivering packages, not passengers, and you could potentially be earning more doing so. So let me go in and break it all down. So first things first, what exactly is a medical courier? So in simple terms, you deliver things like lab specimens, blood samples, medical equipment, and documents between healthcare facilities. So think like hospitals, labs, pharmacies, and even research centers. And some items are time sensitive or even need to be kept at a specific temperature. So reliability is key. And I can't stress this enough because it's one thing if like you don't get your food on time. Like, yeah, it sucks, nobody wants cold food, but it's another thing if you don't get like life-saving medication on time. So making sure that you are reliable and punctual is going to absolutely be a must. So I did a lot of research in preparation for this video, and I really wanted to see what people really liked about being a medical courier. And the thing that I heard on every video was that it often pays more than a lot of the other gig apps. Often most of the work that you do is contract based, and so you can keep those flexible hours that you're used to or that you're seeking. And then the last thing is there is real demand for medical couriers. Like the demand is increasing year over year, and so it's something that you can find some steady work in if you contract with enough companies. Now we have to touch on some of the certifications that you'll likely need if you're going to become a medical courier, because unlike some of the other gig apps where you just simply download the app, sign up, and you're good to go, this one requires a few other certifications. So the first one up is bloodborne pathogen training. So this will teach you how to safely handle biological materials, and it's required by OSHA if you'll be around blood samples, which you likely will be. The second one is HIPAA compliance training. Now, I'm sure you probably have all heard of HIPAA, but essentially when you're dealing with patient info, HIPAA training is going to help you to keep everything confidential and avoid any sort of major fines. Now, the exact certifications that you need may vary based on your state and on the company that you are contracting with, but those are usually the basic ones that you need. And most of the certifications are around like $25 each, and there are a ton of companies that offer certifications, so just make sure you're picking an accredited one. Now, what are some of just the basic things that you need to get started? So you should be 21 years or older, although some companies do require you to actually be 25 years or older. You need a valid driver's license, a clean driving record, your own insured vehicle that is less than 10 years old. And that could be, a car, it could be a Sprinter van, a minivan, it could be a box truck. There's a number of different vehicles you can use. You need basic tech skills and access to a smartphone, and then the ability to lift up to 50 pounds, but some companies even say the ability to lift up to 100 pounds. Now, when looking at the advice from other people who do this full time, there's kind of two directions you can go. You can either contract with an existing medical courier company, or you can kind of start your own company and go direct to hospitals and labs to try to win over some of the contracts there as well. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about working directly with already existing medical courier companies. I'm not going to lie, there are a ton of courier companies out there. There's some that are specific to medical courier work, but there's a lot of them that are just general courier companies that often will have some options to deliver medical supplies as well. And so I honestly recommend you checking out both. But I'm going to give you the 5 best medical courier companies that you can sign up with today. And not all of them are nationwide, so you want to check to make sure it's available in your area, but let's get into it. So the first one that I want to talk about is called Red Fox. So let's look at that website. So if you look at Red Fox, you can see that it is specific to medical courier work, and you can kind of just take a look through the site and do some light reading if you'd like to. But when you want to go to apply, you're going to go to this little hiring now and then drivers from there. So when we pop over, you can kind of just read through why drive with them. One of the things that I like is it says, we'll help you get all the necessary certifications. So that's important to keep in mind because you may not have to actually go out of pocket to get those certifications if they're going to help you get them. And then maybe you can then use those same certifications for other companies as well. But when you want to apply, all you have to simply do, name, email, estimated number of deliveries needed per month. This is an interesting one. I believe it's more about like, let's make this worth your time. So you may want to be strategic on what you put there, but you just click submit and they will get back to you from there. Now, the next company I want to touch on is called American Expediting. Now, for this one, they mainly do like, medical, pharmaceutical type stuff, but every now and again, there'll be some other supply chain type of material as well. So you go down here, it'll say, you have a flexible schedule, days, nights, weekends, up to you, and you'll transport important time sensitive packages, medicine, clinical trial materials, mission critical parts to get supply chain back up and running, and more. So you are likely to encounter things that aren't just medical, but this one does a lot of medical stuff. So I included it on this list. And what I like is they have the different benefits from here. So, the flexibility, the growth opportunities, I like the competitive rates. So remember, you can use different types of vehicles when it comes to courier work in general, not just medical courier work. So it's letting you know if you are using a car, you can earn up to $1,200 a week. For vans, $1,500, and for box trucks, $2,000 per week. No cap on commissions, all of that. So the more space and capacity you have, potentially the more load you can carry, which is why you're able to earn more. And I like that they have the fuel discount program and weekly payments and all of that. So this is definitely a great one to sign up with. And when you want to sign up, you can go ahead and just simply click to view open contracting opportunities. And when you're going through the application, this is essentially what it's going to take you to. So it's just some of the qualifications. 21 years or older, web-based training and certifications provided once you're contracted, an EIN number, which you can get for free, driver's license, dot number, if you have a vehicle over 10,000 pounds, which if you're just in a normal car, it's not over 10,000 pounds, registration, headshot photos, et cetera, et cetera. So just go ahead and just read through all of the different things that you'll end up needing, and then you can go ahead and just apply from there. Now, the third one that I wanted to touch on is called Life Couriers. Now, this one is specifically like healthcare logistics, which is great, and it talks about the fact that you can make an impact by saving lives and doing this work, which I think is a huge benefit of just doing medical courier work in general. But you can kind of scroll down and look at some of the different things that are on here. This one is interesting because it is a global network, and they essentially like have a bunch of smaller companies that kind of all ladder up into it. And so you can click on either of these and see different vacancies. Now, I will say I took a look at most of these, and a lot of them don't have a ton of vacancies. But if you go to On Time, then that one does. So if you click on Time and you go to Apply Now, so that one will bring up a number of different jobs that you can look and apply for. Courier driver, it says you can make $60,000, $80,000 per year. There's courier, med drivers, all types of different stuff. So you can go in and just look what's available in your particular state, in your particular area, and sign up. Now, the fourth one that I want to make sure I mention is called Lab Logistics. Now, this one is specific to the medical industry as well. And so you can go ahead and just take a look, independent labs, hospital and health systems, pharmacy and home health, a number of different kind of services that you'll interact with. And it kind of goes through their general approach of why people should use them more from the consumer standpoint. But if you're looking to sign up with them, you can simply go to careers and go from there. And when you open the page, it's going to essentially say, if you're interested, just fill out and submit a driver profile. Now, it makes it incredibly clear that the form is not a guarantee of work. You're essentially like applying. And so you're going to create a profile. If they have work in your area, they're going to reach out to you, which is why I emphasize when you're doing medical courier work, you want to sign up with as many companies as you can, just because you're not always going to be busy, but you may look up and get a company that gives you consistent work. But when you're filling it out and it shows they're available in all 50 states, first name, last name, company name if you have it, vehicle make, model. Now, the reason they ask for the vehicle make model is because the size of your vehicle is going to determine what kind of deliveries that you can do. So make sure to be honest on that. And oftentimes you do need a car that is 10 years or newer, and then just submit and you are good from there. And the last company that I wanted to mention is SDS Rx. So let's take a look at the site. So for SDS Rx, it says pretty much they do efficient, reliable, cost-effective deliveries for pharmacies, laboratories, healthcare systems, all of that. And so you can kind of scroll through and just get an understanding of what the company does. If you're interested in driving for them, go ahead and just click the Drive for Us right here at the top. And it is going to open up this page and just give you kind of a general understanding of what you can expect. So, be your own boss, drive your own vehicle, drive with a purpose, drive packages, not people, all of that. And it does make a point. If you have a spotless driver record and a dependable vehicle, then drive for them. So you do need to make sure that your driving record is clean. If you know you have like 6 accidents on it, like, duh, you probably don't want to even apply. But I leave that up to you. But you do need to be 21 years or older, at least 3 years driving experience, clean record, vehicle insurance, yada, yada. And it says if your state requires, or you have or are willing to set up an LLC, then cool. But if your state doesn't require it, it doesn't seem like they're necessarily asking you to do that. And you can pass a criminal background check and a drug screen. So, and just make sure it says only candidates who complete the form in full will be contacted. So you want to make sure that you do complete it in full. Now, I know that was a ton of information, and so I went ahead and just threw together a quick blog post with all of those companies listed out as well. So then that way you can check them out on your own time, and the link for that will be in the description. Now, there, of course, are some costs to consider. Like any gig that you do with your car, a couple things you need to factor in. One, gas, because that is an out-of-pocket cost to you. Insurance is one that you have to be mindful of, wear and tear on your vehicle, PPE, depending on the company that you're working with, insulated bags, depending on the routes that you take. But one of the things that you want to keep in mind is you should keep good records because some of that may be tax deductible. Now, I am not a tax professional. Go ahead and go to a tax professional if you want to know exactly what is deductible or not. But my recommendation is to keep note of all of the money that you are spending while doing this type of work to see what deductions you may have at the end of the year. So let's go ahead and talk money. Now, it is not uncommon to make $1,200 to $1,500 a week doing this type of work full time. And if you're already doing other sort of gig apps with your car, this is a perfect thing that you can layer on top of it with all the rest of the work that you do and kind of just do it on the side. Often with this type of work, it's a numbers game. So you want to make sure you contract and sign up with as many companies as you're comfortable with, mainly because not every company is going to have something for you every day. And so the more that you're signed up with, the more options that you have. So if you're looking for a reliable, in-demand side hustle that can help you pay the bills, then you should definitely check out being a medical courier. But I'm interested from hearing from you, like always, is this a side hustle that you've done? Is this one that you would consider? Leave it all in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out that blog post on my website, sidehustleseattle.com. Thank you as always for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.